Good evening, Beruchim Ha'Ba'im B'Shem Hashem to everyone. It is great to have again the opportunity to share some Divrei Torah from the parasha we're going to read this Shabbat, Be'ezrat Hashem. But obviously, before we begin, I think it is going to be very appropriate, almost impossible to ignore, almost impossible not to mention the craziest virus that the world is going through. And I think it's fair to say that the feelings that I get from people with many phone calls and meetings with people, it's hysteric. It's hysterical what's happening. It's really amazing to see how the world is shaking, how the world is in a huge wonder of all kinds of questions that we probably never were brave enough to ask, if it makes sense. There are people who are asking, like, is this the end? Are we facing the end of the world? Is the world getting out of control? What's happening? Is Mashiach is on his way? Is Mashiach already here and it's just a matter of a time that he will reveal himself? What's happening in the world? And I think there are a few things that I would like to share from my experience and from things that I've learned from some incredible giants that I would like to share with you. The first thing, on a very practical level, a lot of people are asking, so I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity I have now to share it with whomever is listening to it or watching it or is here tonight. The first thing I would like to say is that on a very technical level, I think this is a very important thing to follow whatever rules and regulations that the authorities of every single country and every single city is putting together for the people. We need to understand that despite the fact that we are in love with using all kinds of conspiracy theories, or maybe this is an economical adjustment, or this is a world correction that is going to happen, and someone is pushing some kind of a financial agenda. Rabotai, whatever theory you have in mind, you can play and entertain any theory or ideas, a conspiracy you might have in mind. Nevertheless, on a very practical level, it is very important just to follow the rules and the regulations and the new ideas that the cities and the countries and the world is putting for us. Do not play hero. This is very important in many levels. If it's in the level of keeping, hygienic situations in life, somebody told me that this is really amazing that washing hands become a struggle for a lot of people. It becomes a new rule in life, like as if this is not something that we are normally doing. But nevertheless, whatever it is, if it's washing our hands, if it's keeping a little distance, be careful if we don't feel well, if someone doesn't feel well, stay home. It's okay. It's okay not to try to get other people as sick as you are. All those new laws and regulations are extremely important to keep. That's number one. There is absolutely no question, whatever conspiracy game we might have in mind. The second thing is that I think on a spiritual level. On a spiritual level, I think that the fact that we are running life now with enormous fear, the fact that we are running life with scarcity in the highest level possible, this is a very wrong thing. And not only it's wrong, I think this is a clear differentiation once again in maybe a bigger scale, but another example of the differentiation between Rabotai, between those who speaks emunah, those who speak about faith, those who speak about HaKadosh Baruch Hu running the world, versus those who truly believe. Versus those who are truly living life with a belief that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is running the world. It's called in Hebrew, Emunah Peshuta. What is Emunah Peshuta? Emunah Peshuta means a simple, fundamental meaning of the word Emunah, faith. Because that's what we believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And anyone in this world that is concerned, that is worried, that is fearful, Rabotai, don't underestimate it. There are people who don't sleep at night. I get calls from people who are scared in ways they never experienced in their life. And they're asking, what's going to happen? Let me tell you a very simple thing. Do you know what's going to happen? I'm going to share with you what's going to happen in the world. What's going to happen is exactly what has been happening until now. Who made whatever happened in the world up until now? Who run this world for real? If we believe in that. For real, who runs the universe? Who runs the world? Who runs this entire company called universe? Borei Olam, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's very simple. HaKadosh Baruch Hu ran the world up until now. He is running the world as we speak. And He will continue to run the world in the future until the end of the days. It's very simple. We have nothing to worry. We need to have a clear distinction between taking care of what needs to be taken care of. If it means to keep yourself cleaner, if it means to be a little bit far from people, if it means to make sure that if you're not well, just don't get yourself involved with people, or if it means to fill up your house with water and all kinds of necessities in food, etc. Do what you need to do to take care of your family, that's fine. But fear? Scarcity? From where? What happened to our simple, fundamental emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu? It's so crazy what's happening now that if you pay close attention to it, you will see that the biggest level of scarcity has to do with the fact that we don't feel in control. We don't feel in control on the situation, and it's not in our hands anymore because it's spread all over the world and we don't know what's happening. There's no control. We don't know if we can fly, we cannot fly, we can buy or we cannot buy, we can go, we cannot go, can we assemble, we cannot assemble. It's not anymore in our hands. And when the control of our lives is no longer in our hands, we get scared. Maybe that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. I don't know. I don't want to speak for him. I was not hired as HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as Borei Olam's attorney. But maybe that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to give us one more hint. To say, I run the world. Don't worry, son. Don't worry, daughter. I run the world. And I just want you to remember that once again. Because the moment I pull out a little bit with a little virus that you will never be able even to see, I'm shaking the entire universe. And it's mind-boggling. HaKadosh Baruch Hu pulled himself 1 inch back. The whole world is shaking. The whole world is in disaster. Stock market is going down by trillions of dollars. And airlines are shutting down. Entertainment is over. And it's incredible. The whole world is shaking. Maybe it's a hint or a message from HaKadosh Baruch Hu to say, hey, I know up until now you controlled yourself, you believed you are in control, and you believe in China, and you believed in economy, and you believed in money, and you believed in power, and you believed in technology, and you believe... Hello, I'm here. Maybe all HaKadosh Baruch Hu does here is just come to shake our hands and introduce himself back to us. And again, Rabbotai, there is a need to take care of the rules, to take care of the technical stuff, but there is no need of fear. There is no point to fear. There's no point to be scared. There's nothing to be scared of. Even if you imagine the worst possible situation, still not. Because if that is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants, then anyways, we have no say about it. So that's something I think that gives us a great opportunity to recalculate the concept of emunah. Do we believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Or we speak about a belief? We should be strong, Rabbotai, and we should be closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we should have no worries of what's going to happen, because the moment we get the message, we have nothing to worry about what's going to happen in the world. Borei Olam run, and will run the world. And he doesn't need our help. All he does want is us being closer to him and connected to him in the highest possible level. And on the last point, the last note that I would like to mention is, and this is maybe from the mental view on what's happening, I have a feeling that this coronavirus has created some incredible blessings. Incredible blessings when you think about it, despite the fear and the concerns. It creates an enormous blessings and enormous benefits to our families, to our lives. Because surprisingly and incredibly beautiful is to see people going back home. Entertainment world is shut off. Traveling is limited and minimized. And you see people coming home. We see people going to their families. We see people coming to have conversation, get to know your wife, get to know your husband, get to know your kids. Especially now that many schools are closed and kids are home. Get to know your kids. Spend some more quality time in interpersonal relationship. Go back home. Stay home. Be home. Become home. I think there are many benefits. People are much more compassionate to one another. People have much more merciful feelings and care for closeness. We are getting distance physically because of the concern of getting it from one another. But on a spiritual level, on a mental level, we're getting closer to one another. People have much more compassion towards each other. And I think on that point, this disease created, a little blessings to us. Nevertheless, with this I will close this point, because we need to talk about the parasha, Be'ezrat Hashem, in a few seconds. I will close this with one thing. הגאון הגדול, מרן הראשון לציון, רבנו שלמה משה עמאר, השם יאריך ימיו בטוב ושנותיו בנעימים. The giant of all giants of Eretz Israel, a tremendous מקובל and a giant Talmid Chacham, mentioned today, or announced today, for a better word, announced today that Be'ezrat Hashem this coming Sunday is going to be a Yom Tefillah Olami, Behinat what Esther HaMalka said, Lech kenos et kol HaYehudim, ותשומו עליי ואל תאכלו ואל תשתו שלושת ימים. חכם שלמה משה עמאר, מרן הראשון לציון, did not mention the fast, but he did mention to make a לך כנוס את כל היהודים, to create a one big day, an hour and a half before Minha, and this coming Sunday as a Yom Tefillah Olami, to all of us to come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and become closer to Borei Olam, and to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to have His mercy on Am Yisrael and the entire world. We should pray not only for Am Yisrael, we should pray for the entire world, that Be'ezrat Hashem HaKadosh Baruch Hu will remove this crazy disease from us, from all over humanity. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we will be able to declare that we are getting closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We are getting more connected to Borei Olam, and Be'ezrat Hashem with the power of Tefillah. And he mentioned also Amirat Pitum HaKetoret, which is a tremendous, tremendous, powerful thing that Malach HaMavet taught Moshe Rabbeinu as a power for Te'atzara Magifa, to stop the plague. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we should hear only great semachot and great good news, Be'ezrat Hashem. So, Be'ezrat Hashem, we all should commit ourselves to the tefillah that Hacham, the Maran HaRishon LeZion, has declared, and we all going to participate, Be'ezrat Hashem, this coming Sunday, ובורא עולם ישמיע אותנו בשורות טובות, אמן. ברוך אתה שהכל נהיה. מורי ורבותיי, now we can go a little bit into the parasha. And the way I want to go to the parasha is by really try to think about one major point that has to do with Het HaEgel, which is, as we all know, every single year it's a struggle. Every single year we'll learn about Het HaEgel that mentioned in Parashat Ki TISA. It's a struggle in different levels when we are trying to understand what has been happening there, and more importantly, how is that Het HaEgel, the golden calf sin, has to do with us. How is that relevant to us today? And I would like to, if you pay attention to this all the way until the end, you might benefit from something, an incredible idea that has a lot of relevancy to our own life today, almost in any domain of our lives. Let's begin with this. Moray v'Rabotai, every single time we learn about Het HaEgel, we have one thing in mind. We have one thing in mind that says Am Yisrael have sinned. S-I-N-E-D, I think. Maybe an N-I-D, I have no idea, don't ask me to spell it. But nevertheless, Am Yisrael hata. Het HaEgel, it's a sin. Het HaEgel, it's an avera that Am Yisrael made, and Am Yisrael performed with Aaron HaKohen. As the Torah said, Vayara Am, כי בושש משה לרדת מן ההר, ויקהל העם על אהרון, ויאמרו אליו, קום עשה לנו אלוהים, אשר ילכו לפנינו, כי זה משה האיש, אשר העלנו מארץ מצרים, לא ידענו מה היה לו. Basically, when you read these words, Am Yisrael realized that Moshe Rabbeinu is not coming back on time from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And they gathered all together around Aaron HaKohen. And when you listen to them, when you listen to their claim, when you pay attention to their words, they're coming to Aaron with a very, very loving, powerful desire that they have. Almost holy desire. And they're asking Aaron, please, we need somebody to guide us. We need someone to lead us. Please. And if you ever about to tell us, but we have Moshe Rabbeinu, we're telling you we have nothing against Moshe Rabbeinu. We love Moshe Rabbeinu. But there is a problem. כי זה משה האיש אשר העלנו מארץ מצרים, לא ידענו מה היה לו. We are expressing a concern. We are expressing a worry. We don't know what happened. Aharon, please get up and help us. We need leadership. We lost the leadership. Sounds great, isn't it? Like Am Yisrael are really claiming for something almost holy. אהרון הכהן, ויאמר עליהם אהרון, פרקו נזמי הזהב, אשר באוזני נשיכם, etc. We all know it. And then the unbelievable results with the statement, מוריי ורבותיי, I don't know, whatever you call makes sense to a human mind. I think, for me at least, and I'm sure for many others, it is beyond our ability to comprehend. ויקח מידם, אהרון הכהן took it, ויצר אותו בחרת, ויעשהו עגל מסכה, and the עגל מסכה came up to the world, and this is what Am Yisrael gathering around the עגל מסכה, the piece of gold. And look what they're saying. Listen to what Am Yisrael are saying. ויאמרו אלה אלוהיך ישראל, אשר העלוך מארץ מצרים. מוריי ורבותיי, I can repeat this pasuk 10.5 million times. It will never kick in my mind, in making any sense. Am Yisrael just experienced the 10 מכות במצרים. The experienced יציאת מצרים ובני ישראל יוצאים ביד רמה. The experienced קריעת ים סוף. The experienced man in their tents. The experienced עמוד הענן ועמוד האש. The experienced מתן תורה. The experienced watching, seeing, testifying, experiencing the presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the world. They're experiencing Moshe Rabbeinu's leadership taking them out of Egypt and through the whole entire miracles journey. And they can take a look. Let me say it again. They can take a look on a piece of metal and a piece of gold and say, Ele Elohecha Israel, Asher Elucha Me'eretz Mitzrayim. Forgive me for saying that, but that stupid piece of metal is your God that took you out of Egypt. Let me rephrase my question. And forgive me for saying that this way, but I have to make the point this way. Is this a sin? Or this is a crazy, mental ill statement from a mental ill human beings? In other words, when such people experiencing all the leadership and the presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, going through this miraculous journey with Moshe Rabbeinu, can look at a piece of metal and say, this is God that took us out of Egypt, are we going to give them a punishment? Do they deserve a punishment for this? Or they truly deserve the most expensive psychiatrist in town? Is this a mental ill sickness that a normal human being can claim this is God, took us out of Egypt? Are you out of your mind? Is that falls under the definition of a sin? Or under the definition of a sickness, of a mental ill sickness? For what? For what do we want to punish them for? For what? This is a statement that if a normal human being would say, we will hospitalize him. Especially if you experienced the entire journey by yourself. Not 10 million years ago, yesterday. The second thing is that it truly requires some understanding is, if we are willing to go deep into the human soul and the human DNA, core DNA of humanity, how is it possible, truly, how is it possible that a human being can really go from watching and experiencing and witnessing all of those miracles and taking this piece of metal and forget everything that happened? Really forget everything that happened? And be able to claim? I'm going into the sickness itself. I'm trying to understand the sickness. I'm trying to understand the mindset, how the mind works of those people that can look and be excited and celebrate. וישכימו ממחרת, וישב העם לאכול ושתו, ויקומו לשחק, and they're going and they're celebrating. What's happening in a human's mind? Can people really lose their mind to that degree? From זה כלי וענווהו, from seeing בורא עולם in קריאת ים סוף, and receiving Torah al Har Sinai? And is there anything in a human mind that can twist to that level and can shift to that level of looking at a piece of gold and say, Ele Elohecha Yisrael? Our people can be so fragile in their mind? Is the human mind such a fragile mind that can turn and can shift from being holy and powerful into becoming a Hamanah Selan, crazy? What is happening here? Moray v'Rabotai, the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin brings down the secret of what's happening here. And I will explain that and see by our own eyes how powerfully relevant this point to our lives. And let me say it this way. Moray v'Rabotai, there is an assumption that we all go by. There is a fundamental understandings that we carry in our own minds in life about the way human beings are functioning in the world. We tend to believe, listen to this, is really crazy but powerful, very profound point. Simple yet very profound. We tend to believe that the way a human being is operating in life is as follows. The first thing that's happening to us, to any human being, is we think. We think in our minds. We think about the idea. We think about a philosophy. We think about all kinds of beliefs that we have in life. In other words, a human being is a mind machine. And in our minds, we are running ideas, thoughts, philosophies. And after of the entire process that's going on in our minds, now that I came up with a conclusion, a solid conclusion of the way I see the world and the way I built my worldview based on my conclusions of my worldview, now I am going to operate I am going to behave, I am going to act or to react based on my thoughts. So if you wish, every human operation works in 2 steps, in that particular order. That's what we tend to believe. That the mind does his work, creates the processing, information and data until it comes up with some kind of conclusions. And based on those understanding in the mind, it goes down to our body and we act and behave based on the conclusions of the mind. So mind goes first, and then the reaction and the action, the operational system is following the mind. That would be a dream if we can live life like this. But in reality, our Hachamim shared with us the biggest secret, and Rabotai, I have to admit, I don't think this is an easy thing to digest. It's not an easy thing to believe. It's not an easy thing to live life by. But it is very, very important. So hear it, try to inhale it, process it in your mind, and see if it will become, if it has enough power to shift our lives in any area, in any department of our lives. Came Hachamim and tells us, if you think the mind leads and the heart follows, you want to think again, because you're wrong. Here is how the world works. Here is how the human operational system actually works. The first thing that comes to reality is a human desires. The passion that we have to fulfill our desires, to fulfill our wanting, to fulfill our fantasies, to fulfill our needs, to fulfill in Hebrew our ta'avot, to fulfill our desires in the utmost joyful level. This is a human being. The first step that runs and generates human behavior is human desires. Ta'ava. The desire for pleasure, the desire for joy, the desire for satisfaction of all kinds of satisfactions. A human being is a desired machine. But every single human being has a concern. I cannot live life based on my desires. It doesn't look good. Because it might make me feel, it might make the world think about me that I'm nothing but an animal. Because what runs my life, what generates every behavior of my life is my animalistic desires. I will do anything to get pleasure. I will dedicate my life, I will be the most creative and imaginary human being to get some pleasures. But it doesn't look good. It doesn't sound good. What am I? An animal? I'm a human being. I know better. I should know better. So here is the deal. No one naturally, without work, no one is willing to do anything that doesn't bring us pleasure, joy, happiness, and satisfaction. That's what we need for. That's all we want. But because it doesn't look and it doesn't sound good, we need to become smart. This is where the mind comes to the game. The mind says, let me create an ideology, a philosophy, an understanding that might sound profound, might sound an idea, might sound brilliant, might sound wise, might sound very convincing intellectually. But let me tell you this. The intellectual force has no life independently. The intellectual force can only serve as a justification of my fulfilling my desires. So you see how it works. What generates behavior in a human operational system is desires. The ideology comes to support the desires. In other words, the heart, the desires are running the world, but because they don't sound great enough, they're coming with philosophical ideas that might either justify it for ourselves or can fool others as if what we do is a result of our understanding, not as the leaders of our behavior. It's powerful, think about it. The Gemara said all of this in one line. So Gemara said, I'm reading the line of the Gemara. Amar Rav Yehuda, Gemara Sanhedrin, Daf Samech Gimel. The Gemara said, Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav. Yod'in, listen to the words, just sweet, powerful words. Yod'in ayu Israel ba'avoda zara she'en ba mamash. Am Israel were clear that this egel hazahav en bo mamash, it's nothing. They know. Are you looking for common sense? Ele Elohecha Israel asher e'elucha me'eretz Mitzrayim. You're looking for common sense? יודעים היו ישראל בעבודה זרה שאין בה ממש. Every word of Hachamim in the Gemara is a pearl. ולא עבדו עבודה זרה, אלא להתיר להם עריות בפרהסיה. עם ישראל only served עבודה זרה, not because they believed for a second that a stupid piece of metal took them out of Egypt. Don't look for common sense in the statement, in whatever people say. Do you know why they say that? Because whatever you want me to say, I will say. Whatever logical or illogical statement that you want me to say, I will say, as long as it serves my desire to fulfill my needs. I will tell you anything you want to hear. I will justify it logically and intellectually in any shape and form you want, so I can still become free to do what I want. This is how a human DNA operational system works. Desires coming first, and then you're going to say anything you want to say. Because if you take and you judge any ideology intellectually purely without a human desire behind that, you can see how many things people say that has absolutely zero sense to it. Zero sense to it. If you wish, I'll give you a simple example. Today in America, there is something in democracy that's called free speech. Free speech. Do you know what free speech means? Free speech means I have the freedom to say anything I want. Anything I want. To you or about you as I please, as I wish. Free of speech, you can't stop me. Moray v'rabotai, if you think about it for more than 4.5 seconds, free speech means free to kill. Because words can kill. Lashon hara can kill. Gossiping about someone can kill. speaking in a derogatory way to a person can be considered as murdering him. מוטב לו לאדם שיפיל עצמו לכבשן האש ואל ילבין פני חברו ברבים. It's preferred for a human being to burn himself than embarrassing someone in public. But we came up with an idea of democracy, of freedom. We tell people, hey, this is the world of freedom. You should feel free to say what you want. You should feel free to say as you please, because this is a free speech country. But when you think about the statement, you think about the idea, you understand that this is a killer. But it sounds beautiful. And many people can fall into this trap and believing this is beautiful. What am I saying? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know, I'm just saying can be equivalent that I'm just allowed to kill you and to destroy your life. I can burn your life by just saying. What do you want from just saying? You can hear many people in the world that are debating abortions. I am for abortion, I'm against abortion. And you can hear people going back and forth, intellectuals, doctors, professors, people that you want to believe that have some brain, some capacity of intellectuality in their brain. And they can vote for abortion. Moreover, there is no other word to describe abortion but murdering. It's a murder. It's a killer. But I have, as a woman, I have the rights on my body and I will decide if I have rights. I have rights may sound an intellectual statement, an intellectual claim, but it's not. It only came to justify the disaster freedom that people are pursuing. Any intellectual claim is nothing but a representative of an animalistic desire that people have. In my work, in relationships with couples, quite often you might fall to this trap listening to husbands or wives that claiming against each other all kinds of claims. And you can hear the man says, you know, I have to tell you that, you know, we're not partners anymore. There is no, excuse me, there is no partnership and there is no equality. There is no this, there is no that. And you might feel, if you don't have an active listening skill, you might feel that the guy is poor guy. He's suffering. He's having a hard time. He's losing equality. He's losing partnership. He's losing respect. He's losing. But if you really can become a little deaf, not completely, but a little deaf, and try to dig in, out of all those fancy terms and all those ideology and all those beautiful terms, what are you truly pursuing? What desires, human animalistic desires, you have that are not fulfilled? Talk to me about the real deal. Talk to me about what really bothers you. What needs do you have that are not fulfilled? Because when you can pinpoint to those humanistic, animalistic human needs, you can see how all those beautiful terms and ideas and ideologies and philosophies have no power whatsoever. Moreover, Rabotai, this idea of understanding the difference between ideology that creates behavior versus ideology that justify behavior is what Het HaEgel was all about. Am Yisrael, we asked at the very beginning, Am Yisrael that experienced so enormous miracles by HaKadosh Baruch Hu and with Moshe Rabbeinu, are coming to Aharon HaKohen, קום עשה לנו, כי זה משה, לא ידענו מי היה לו. Hey Aharon, don't you understand that? We want leadership. They don't want leadership, they want arayot. But they can't say, I want arayot. So what they say, we need leadership. We need guidance. We need someone that will connect us to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It sounds much more romantic than expressing a desire. Could you imagine if Am Yisrael would come to Aharon HaKohen and say, Aharon, kum aseh lanu Elokim, because we want to pursue arayot, and we want to pursue freedom, we want to pursue to do whatever in the world we want to do. It wouldn't sound great. So what you have to do is cover it up. Cover up your desires by intellectual ideas. You know, I'll tell you this, quite often I hear a lot of people, when you ask them, you are Jewish, you're raising a Jewish family, why don't you come to Bet HaKnesset? Why don't you show your kids what Jewish is all about, what Judaism is all about, what our tradition is all about? And they will come up with powerful intellectual claims. You have to understand, we live far away, and there is no way for us to come, and I don't have time. Shabbat is the only time my kids can play soccer, and this is the only time they can play sports. This is the only time for family. They'll give you all kinds of family values. And you say, this guy is is smart. He's smart. He's giving you an intellectual understandings behind his behavior. But we all know, and we shall never know. We shall never know. When, God forbid, there is a phone call from the doctor that the blood test that this person took 4 days ago came as the result as abnormal, and the doctor has concerns. Morai v'Rabotai, at what time on the day do you believe this person runs to Bet HaKnesset? He will run to Bet HaKnesset at 4 a.m. Make sure he's the first one in Bet HaKnesset. He will buy tefillin of Rashi, Rabbeinu Tam, and Rabbeinu Hananel, and he will do whatever it takes to give tzedakot. He will bring his kids with him at 6 o'clock in the morning to Bet HaKnesset to make sure that the doctor's test was wrong, and Be'ezrat Hashem, he will be healthy. What happened to the ideas? What happened to the intellectual claims? What happened to the philosophies? What happened to any of that? Nothing. It was never as powerful as we believe. And I would like to conclude with one powerful point. Very short, but I want you to hear that, please. This Shabbat, we read Parashat TISA, but we also read Parashat Para. And Parashat Para is the Parashat Para Aduma, as we all know. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Hukah hakakti, gezerah gazerti, ve'en lecha reshut leharher hareya. We don't know the reason, we don't know the logic behind the idea of Para Aduma. Metaheret et hatemeim, metama et hatehorim. We don't know the exact understanding of it, but Para Aduma is one of the examples of the mitzvot. Hukah hakakti, gezerah gazerti. You need to follow this mitzvah. I don't care if you understand that. I don't care if it makes sense to you. Your mind is not active in this mitzvah. You got to do it because I said so. So here is what I think is the connection between Para Aduma. Maybe that could be an amazing lesson. There are many lessons by Hachamim, but maybe in conjunction to what we just said. Para Aduma, it's an exercise. Para Aduma, it's an exercise that we are facing a mitzvah from the Torah. Kadosh Baruch Hu is telling us the mitzvah of Para Aduma. Zot Hukat Torah. Kadosh Baruch Hu gave us a mitzvah that we are looking and learning. And then the mind is struggling with it. The mind doesn't get it. Maybe the message from Parah Aduma, one of the messages from Parah Aduma is, when you approach Torah, before you're trying to make sense logically to it, check where your heart is with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because if your mind doesn't understand that, it's fine. As long as the level of connection that you have in your desires are connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when we can lift up Ashrei ish asher yishma' limitzvotecha v'toratecha udvarecha yasim al libo, when our heart is connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we should not worry about if we understand that or not. Because the source of connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in our heart. When we are in love and in connection with Borei Olam, with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, don't worry about the mind. The mind will adjust itself. The mind will participate. The mind will follow. What you have to work on is be close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to love Borei Olam, to be connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And Rabbotai, with this level of love, this level of connection, this level of a simple emunah peshuta, that everything is in the hands of Borei Olam. And we have to dedicate our desires, to shift our desires from animalistic fulfilled desires into spiritual desires in connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Everything else will fall in place by default. We don't have to worry about anything. We have to be close and connected to Borei Olam. And with this, we are going to have the most beautiful, beautiful connection and most beautiful results in our lives with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And with this, we are going to have the merit to have the Geula Shelema by praying to Borei Olam, loving HaKadosh Baruch Hu, being close to Him, believing Him, surrendering. Surrender, surrender, surrender. Nullify yourself to the love that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has for us. With this, we're going to be one unit with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the sky, not even, the sky is the limit to whatever blessings and beracha and yeshua and refuah we're going to get back from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shabbat Shalom.